Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to another video. And today I'm going to be showing you how to make this particular explosion box. This is one we did in a class recently, and what we're going to do is edit that class footage down to show you how to do this. So Tamitha has worked very hard to make this little video for you. So without further ado, let's jump in. Welcome into the class. Tonight we are going to be making this really cool explosion box. Let me move this out of the way so you can see what it looks like. So you take this little lid off, and this guy does this, and he's two layers. There's a layer here. We have a little box inside. How stinking cute, right? And better than anything, I'm going to teach you how to use your explosion box board for the future. Breaking in here to ask you to hit that red subscribe button. It's free. Also hit the bell button beside it. You can help me reach my big goal this year of 400,000 subscribers. Okay, back to crafting. We're just going to jump into it. We're not going to stress about nothing. We're just going to jump in. All right, so we've got our paper pack here. I want to show you how tonight's class is going to go. I'm going to bring out a thing like this, okay? This is going to show you what paper we need to pull out, and it's going to tell us what we need to do, okay? Now, periodically, I'll pull the box over here. Smells divine. Periodically, I'll pull the box over, and I will tell you, this is what we're making, this portion of the box, okay? Also, do not panic if you think you're getting behind. I will make sure you're staying on target. I may do a step and be done before you, but that doesn't mean I'm going to move on. So just know I'll keep you on track, okay? So we're going to pull out the page to make the outside of the box first. So I want you to find this one, which is actually called wrapping paper, but I just call it colors because I don't really know. It's hard to reference it sometimes. So look for, there it is right there. So pull this guy out and put your paper aside. Put the rest of your paper aside. We'll come back to it in just a second. I want you to take your cut piece and put it to the right-hand side of your desk or wherever you're working, and then take the leftover and put it to the left-hand side of the desk because I don't want you to get them mixed up, okay? Simple instructions there. So get your trimmer, and for this first piece, it's super hard. Are y'all ready for this? Open your trimmer up. We are only cutting this little designer strip off right here. That's all we're cutting off. But there's a way to do it, so don't get froggy. Listen to me. Here's what you want to do. Put it in your trimmer and put it to the 12-inch mark down here, okay? Don't just assume that cutting straight away gets you 12 inches because sometimes paper companies are generous. So we're going to cut that away, making our page 12 by 12. And let me show you what I mean. Do you see how there's a little bit of color on the edge of my page up there? If I had cut right to it, I'd be about an 1/8 to 1/16 of an inch off, which is not a big deal, but sometimes you have to do that. So now we have a piece that is 12 by 12. All right, so now, where does this page go? It goes to the pile on the right. So we're going to cut one piece 6.5 by 6.5. So I'm going to put this into my trimmer, and I'm going to go to 6.5 inches and slice. This is leftover. This piece goes to the left. I'm going to turn this guy and cut it at 6.5. This is leftover. This one goes to the left, but this is what I wanted. 6.5 by 6.5. It goes to the right now. And guess what? We're going to make it 11 by 11. All right, I say we move on. To the right, put this page to your right-hand pile. Our new card is this one. We're looking for orange and pink plaid, and we're going to cut this to 6 by 6. So our leftovers will go to the right. No, our leftovers go to the left. Keep me on track. Leftovers left.
Right over's right.
Right over's right. So leftovers to the left, right overs to the right. We want the right ones to the right. And this time I want you to cut this on this side 4 3/8 by 4 3/8. Now I want to tell you, if 3/8 scare you, let me tell you where it is. Okay? 3/8 is the line between 4 1/4 and 4 1/2. It is the middle point between 4 1/4 and 4 1/2. So if you find 4 1/4 and then go to the middle point between 4 1/4 and 4 1/2, now I got to count my 8 so I know where I'm at. This is where I'm going. And if you're wondering, 3/8 is 2/16. So if you're bored, by the way, leftovers go to the left. If your board shows 16ths, you just count 2 of those for every, and that makes an 1/8. The best thing to do is just make sure you are halfway between 4 1/4 and 4 1/2. Right to the right. Put your right page to the right, and I'm going to get us a new card. 2 pieces, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So what I'm going to do is put it in my trimmer. I'm going to cut 3 3/4 as a big long strip. I'm going to put the leftovers to the left, and I'm going to flip this guy to one side and go 3 3/4 2 times. So 3 3/4 here. So I need that one. 3 3/4 here. I need that one, but this guy is a leftover. He goes left. All right, so I'm going to put the right pieces to the right. They're going in my right-hand pile. I'm going to get us a new card. This one is very much like the last one in that we're going to need 2. All right, 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut a strip down to 3 3/4. Leftovers go to the left. Then we need 2 3 3/4 pieces. Leftovers go left. My good pieces go to the right. And here's what we need to cut. We need to cut 3 squares that are 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. And again, the orientation, now here, this does matter, doesn't it? I guess this is what he was talking about. But here, you see how I've got the orientation like this? So you want to make sure your words are up. So I see what he's saying. It didn't matter. So pay attention to orientation. Make sure your words are up. Leftovers go to the left. And then 3 1/4, 2 times, and you'll get what we're looking for. Leftovers go to the left. We need to cut. I'm going to cut from this end, not the decorator strip. I'm just going to leave it there, and I'm going to cut from this end. Okay. First, we need to cut 3 pieces that are 1 inch by 12 inch. Here's what that means. You're going to cut an inch strip and an inch strip and an inch strip. You're going to do that 3 times. Okay. So you're going to place this in your trimmer, and we're going to cut 1 inch. See, 1 by 12. That goes to the right. Another 1 by 12 goes to the right. Another 1 by 12. Where does it go? To the right. These are goodies. We want to keep these, okay? Now we need to cut one more piece, and this one can get you, okay? We need to cut a piece 3/8 inches wide. Now, if you're not comfortable with 8, you can cut it a 1/2 inch or a 1/4 inch. It'll just be different. Let me show you what we're doing. We're fixing to cut the strip that makes this little bow in the middle of our box. So if you make it thinner, it's fine. If you make it wider, it's fine. But 3/8 looks real good on here. It's just a good size. So I'm going to cut my strip 3/8 by 12. So right here, I'm struggling. 3/8 by 12. I just like the 3/8 size. This piece can go to the left. It's a leftover. Now what I want you to see here is we have this piece cut 3/8 by 12. We're going to cut this piece down, okay? I want to cut this piece down at 5 inches. So I'm going to put it into my trimmer, and I'm going to cut it 5 inches long. And this is going to give me 2 pieces, and this is exactly what I want. I want a piece that's 5 inches and a piece that's 7 inches, and these go to the right because we're going to use these. These are good pieces, okay? So we're going to put these to the right. So just do an inventory with me, okay? 3 1 by 12 pieces. I've got a 3/8 by 5 inch and a 3/8 by 7 inch. Now you should have 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 teal happy birthday pieces. Okay. You should have 2 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 green word pieces, and you should have 2 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 dot pieces. You'll have 4 3/8 by 4 3/8. This little guy. This little guy is 6 by 6. Yeah, 6 by 6. You're going to have 11 by 11 and 12 by 12. That's where we are. These 4 pieces we're fixing to work on. Okay. I want to start with the big guy. So I'm going to take these guys and put them over to my right. And oh, I forgot this piece. You also have this piece.
6.5 by 6.5.
6.5 by 6.5. So it's 5 pieces we're fixing to work on. 5 pieces. This guy too. So put him to the side. Now let's get out our explosion board. So here's our explosion board. Now I want to talk to you about this board a little bit before we get started, okay? You have your little instruction booklet. You won't need this tonight. I'm going to be your instructions, okay? But you do have this booklet for your future reference if you want to do something else. Okay. So this board is really cool in that it does this. All right, right here it says box chart right here. And you see that it shows the box and the paper. Okay, so here's what that means. Where that little box is, these little bubbles under there are the box size we're making. This little piece of paper, the measures under there are the size of the paper you need to make that box. Okay? If you drop down underneath, you have lid chart, and you'll see lid and paper. This little bubble shows the size of the lid you're making, and this little piece shows the size of the paper you'll need to make that lid. Now I want you to notice at the top, we have these little bubbles over here. You see the little board? There's a little board in blue. All these little bubbles coordinate with these little bubbles. Okay? Then I want you to see there's a lid, and it just says lid. That's the only score you need for the lid. And then if you look in the corner, there's a diagonal score. I just want you to see it. We're going to use it. So I just wanted to go over so you'd know what I'm talking about and where I'm pointing to. Okay? Now, this is the outside of our box. We're going to make this section. I just turned that over. We're going to make this box part. Okay? So as you can imagine, it is the extra, extra large box. Because when this guy's closed up, it's big. I think he measures like four something. I don't know. I'm not going to measure. He's 4. He's 4 inches. So he's a big box when he's closed up. So we're going to make the extra, extra large. Okay? So I'm going to take this paper. I'm going to put it into, this little thing has a little lip or a little groove that stops the paper. I'm going to put my cardstock all the way into that little groove. And I'm going to come over here where it says XXL. And it tells me to use a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. That's what we did. Now, I did all your measurements for you ahead of time, but when we're going tonight, you'll see what we did. We're going to make the big box. We needed a piece of 12 by 12. So because I'm making the XXL box, I need to score it under the box section at XXL. We're not making the lid yet. We're making the box. So I want you to go over here, and under XXL bubble, I want you to score twice. 2 gentle scores. Okay? 2 gentle scores. Then we're going to start driving. All right? We're going to steer this guy to the left. So all we're going to do now is we're going to pick up our paper, turn it to the left, put it back in that little dude, in that corner, and we're going to score XXL again. 2 gentle passes. Steer it again. Turn to the left. Score 2 gentle scores. All right, 2 gentle scores to XXL. You need to do this 4 times, right? We had to do all 4 sides. Okay, here's what I want you to do. Wherever you want to do it, this guy's ready to be worked on again. We're not going to do it right now. We're going to work on him again in a second. So now I'm just going to sit him over here because I'll come back to him. If you want to put him wherever, you just need to know we're coming back to him. Okay, we're going to come back to all these pieces actually. All right, let's work on this guy. And I'm going to show you what it is because I want it to make sense to you, okay? We're going to make the lid for our box. This is what we're doing. This piece right here, you see it matches? So just like we just went and found the XXL box, see that? We found the XXL box. Now we're going to go to the lid chart and find the XXL lid. And you'll see that the measurement there is 6.5 by 6.5, and that's what you've got here. Here's what's cool about the lid box, okay? You only have to score in one place, just at lid. Every lid is scored in the same place, lid. So you're going to do just what you did on that 12 by 12, both sides and all the way around, but using lid only. So we're going to go to lid and score 2 gentle scores. We're going to drive it to the left and score 2 gentle scores. Drive it to the left, 2 gentle scores. Turn it to the left, drive it, turn it, 2 gentle scores. All right, so you got your lid done. Here's what I need you to do. Put your lid aside. We're going to come back to it. I need us to go back to that 12 by 12 piece because I forgot to move. So I need us to go back to our 12 by 12. Let me show you what I need you to do, and then we can do it, okay? What I forgot to do was score the diagonal right here where it goes like that. I forgot to do that, so we need to do that really quick. Here's how you do it. Remember how I showed you on the board that you had this like diagonal score right here? It's super easy. All you're going to do, you don't have to worry about your previous scores. They don't matter. You're just going to put this in and just score on that diagonal. And it really does stop where it needs to stop. Like that score mark just stops. So just score on your diagonal, just like that, all the way around, please. You can put that plaid piece aside, and let me show you what we're doing next. Next, we're going to create the scores for this middle piece, this little piece in the middle. So it's your next biggest cut you did. So I need you to pull the pink confetti out, 11 by 11. Now remember, the first box we did, this is something I want to show you too. The first box we did, the outside box, was the XXL box, so it's 12 by 12. This second box is the 11 by 11, and I want you to see this. It's very close. Like you could put a lot of layers in here because we're going to do XXL and then XL, and then you could continue working down and making your boxes in here and have a whole bunch. So here's the deal with this guy. We're going to do him as the XXL box. So you guessed it. You're going to put him in and score him. Now, one thing is, because some of y'all are going to get ahead of me, you do not have to diagonal this one. We're going to cut those corners away, so no need to diagonal. So you're just going to put this in, okay, and you're going to score it XL, not 2X, just 1X. We'll come back to this page too. We've got some cutting to do. For our next scoring, for our next trick, we're going to be making the box that's in the middle. And that one is 6 by 6. And this is the extra small box. This guy's going to get scored at the extra small marking, okay? Extra small, 6 by 6, and we're going to go to extra small marking and score. And we're still going to do it on all 4 sides. Okay, let's move this guy aside. We'll come back to him in a minute. Now, as we've been doing, we made our extra small box bottom, and now we've got to make the lid. Well, the issue is when we made our lid at 4.5 by 4.5, this is not a 4.5 by 4.5 piece of paper. When we did that, the lid was huge. And I want to show you this because we're fixing to make the lid. This lid is roomy. It's not massive, but it's roomy. When we did it with 4.25 by 4.25, it was huge. So Shannon and I played around until we got the box where we liked it. And that meant we did it at 4 3/8 by 4 3/8. So you might want to make a note for yourself that when you're making this extra small box, the lid is not 4.5, it's 4 3/8. And here's the thing, if you think, well, I'll just go down 1/4 inch on that box size, it made it exactly the same. When you went to put it on, it sat exact. So 4 3/8 is what works, okay? And we're going to lid score it. So what else is interesting is no matter what size lid you cut, you always just score it at the lid section. So even though we edited that number, you're still going to score it at the lid section. So we're fine to do that, but we did have to do it. Now I will say this, we didn't try any other lid tops except the big guy, except the double extra large, and it was fine. So if you find when you're making boxes that some of them don't line up, you'll just have to play around and get your paper where it needs to go. Shannon even checked to see, because this was an older board, mine is, she checked to see if it had changed, and it hasn't changed on the newer boards either. You know, because sometimes they change it. Now, I do want to tell you this while we're here because this will make sense. You see this section of lid, like that's a pretty big score section. It ends up looking like this. So you see how long from the top of the box to the side of the box our lid goes? It's a really long lid. If you don't love this, what I would do is I would do my box score, my lid, because you need that to get your lid right, okay? Then I would trim away like 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch off the edges, or maybe even border punch it with a border punch, and then you wouldn't have it going so far down the side of the box. These guys are really hard to see your score marks on because of all of this pattern. So what I want to do is I want us to go ahead and do our folds before we do anything else, okay? So here's what I suggest. We're going to take our page and we're just going to let the fold appear. Do you see how that just appeared when I just kind of wiggle it? It appears. That's what we want. And we can line up the sides and take your bone folder or your ergo. I just call this guy ergo. Take him and go ahead and let's do our folds. The reason is we need to do some trimming in a second. Do all 4 sides, please. We need to do a trimming in the second, and you really can't see it very well. So if we go ahead and do this, we can see it better. So all 4 sides get scored and creased, get folded and creased. And then I'm going to show you how to do the diagonal. So here's what I discovered about the diagonals. I want to scoot this up a little bit. Do you see how I've got these guys folded up, these corners folded up like this? We're going to pay attention to one at a time. I'm going to fold this over like so, okay? I'm going to hold this corner down right here where my fingers are, right down here. Where this crossover score line is, see where it's kind of lifted up? This crossover score line right here, you'll see it in real life. We're going to grab that score line And what we're going to do is we're going to bring this score line to this edge of the paper. Okay, so hand here, holding it down, bring that score line to that edge of the paper and line it up. Now I'm going to hold this and show you what's happening. You see what's happening right here? That's what we want to happen. Okay, so we're going to now take our bone folder and go in here and crease our diagonal down. Now I'm going to do that 4 times, so if you didn't get it, watch again, okay? So now I've got that diagonal folded. Let's do the other side. I'm going to bring this guy over, and holding the corner down here, I'm going to grab this score line right here, and I'm going to bring that entire score line. You might have to, see how that's kind of fighting me? You might have to push a little bit. But I'm going to bring that entire score line to the edge of the page. In real life, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And when I do that, I get this little bubbly piece. We're just going to crease it down. Crease it down. That's how we get our diagonals. So we got both diagonals. Now, if you are confused, I'm doing it again right now. Watch me do it one more time. I'm going to fold in, keep my fingers down here, grab that score line, bring it to this edge right here. So watch what I'm doing. I'm just bringing it to the edge. When I do, my paper stands up, my diagonal appears, and I can then crease it down. Do you see what I'm holding in my hand? This is that diagonal score line we just did. See this? I want you to see how this is cut at an angle. It's here. We're going to cut an angle here. So we're going to make that look like this. Okay? This point has to go away. Here's how we're going to do it. All right. We're going to put this into here. Okay? Our cut line is our guide. We're going to go from one corner to the other corner right here. This has to come off. Okay? What corner are we using? We're using that score line. Okay? And we're using this score line. We're going to cross over the diagonal. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to lay it into my trimmer. I'm going to put score line on my cut line, and I'm going to come down here and put score line on. This is why I wanted you to fold it so you could see it. If you cannot see your score lines, take your pencil and make a little mark where they are, and then you'll be able to see them. And now what you're going to do, very important, pay attention. We're going to sink our blade. Put your blade in, push it in, okay? And then go up and come down. That's how we get nice, clean points. We're going to do that off all 4 corners. Now, we're going to do exactly the same thing we just did on here, but you won't have a diagonal line because we don't need it, okay? So we are going to do that cut, but without that diagonal crossover. So we're doing the same cut. So we're going from score mark to score mark. So go ahead and do the same thing on all 4 corners. We are going to make, right now, this pocket. You see this little pocket with the point? That's what we're about to make, okay? Here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to take my scissors, and we're going to be cutting here and here, here and here, okay? Our score mark lives right here. I can see my score mark. You can see your score mark too. If you can't, you can do your folds. But we're going to cut to the inside of the score mark. I want to get rid of the score mark. I'm going to cut it away. All right, so watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut just to the inside of the score mark up to where they meet at the crossover. See that? That's what we want to do. Then I want to literally cut that score mark off. I'm not going to cut it at an angle. I'm going to cut straight up. And you probably can't tell. I'm not cutting on this piece. I'm cutting on this piece. Okay? Matter of fact, let me show you this. If it gets in the way, just kind of fold that piece down because I want y'all to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to do that. So this is the piece I'm cutting. And I'm going to cut away a super thin sliver that gets rid of that score mark. We don't like bulk. And when we're doing these kinds of cuts, it's how we get rid of bulk. So I'm just taking that little sliver, see that sliver? Off. Now I'm going to lay this down and let you see what I just did. See? I literally cut the score mark out. Okay? I want you to do that here, 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 and here. So let's do it over here. Now on this side, we're going to cut to this side of the score mark. All right? Because we're going to cut the whole thing off. So I'm going to cut all the way beside it, all the way up until I get to the crossover. And then I'm going to come back and get the one on the point. and then I'll show you. And you're also going to see that mine are not going to be perfect. They're not going to match perfectly because I don't do perfect. Don't know how to do perfect. See how one's bigger than the other? It won't matter. Now what we're going to do is fold the pocket down, okay? So you want the pink side facing up. And what we're going to do is right here, we're going to run glue, just like this, a super thin line of glue, okay? Then what I want you to do is fold this over and glue that down. Don't worry if you have some body up here. Don't worry if that's kind of lifted. That's okay. It's a pocket, okay? Then I'm going to come back and do this side just the same. Now, if I did this too fast, don't worry. I got another side to do, okay? I also want to add a little glue here, just in this area, to hold it down. So watch this. I'm going to take this one and go back over the top. So I'm going to do the other side just the same. So I'm going to put a little thin line of glue on my pointed piece. And then I'm going to fold it down and glue it into place. And again, if you've got a little body, it's not a big deal because we have room in the box. Then we're going to do this side. Add a little glue inside of this point just to hold it down. What these guys are going to do is they're going to live in here. They're matting these pieces. And I want to show you this while we're doing this, okay? We're going to talk orientation. I have one facing up. I did one sideways just because I could, right? I mean, does it really matter? And then I made sure this one was facing this way so that it was up when you saw these pieces, and I just did that one sideways for fun, but doesn't matter. These are not pockets. These are just mats. You can glue these directly down. Go ahead and get that done too. While we're gluing down mats, let's do our other ones too. I'm going to move this aside for a minute, and I'm going to bring back my orange plaid piece. Let's go ahead and glue the rest of these down since we have them. With these guys, what we're going to do, this is our orange plaid piece again. These are just mats. They're for photos. So I'm going to do them like this and then like this and just glue these down. This next step is so easy. This next step is. Because here's what's going to happen. Watch this. We're going to take this guy like this. And we're going to glue this guy in like this. That's all you got to do. That's it. And you just kind of center it. You just eyeball center it. The only thing you want to make sure of is when you put this guy down, all four sides will still fold. Make sure you haven't overlapped any sides. Right here, I'm a little close. That felt a little resistant-y. So I'm going to just do it like this. You see what I'm saying? You just want to make sure everything can fold. And what I do is just put my glue on the back of this center square, and then we just put this guy in. If you want, you can kind of lift him up like this so you can see where you're going. What I do is just try to hurry and put him down and then just double check everything. All right, put this guy aside, glued together, let him rest. Let's bring over the bottom of our box. Let's go ahead and fold all these score marks, just like we did on the first one. Remember, this time our plaid is facing out. I decided to do this one a little different than we do our lid. We haven't done our lid yet, but the way we do our lid is a little different than this, so I want you to see what I'm going to do. So I'll just use my marker because y'all don't care if I have marker. You don't have marker marks. Let me have them. I'm going to be cutting those places. Do you see that? This score line, this score line, this score line, and this score line. And what I'm going to do is my first cut is just to the inside of the score. Again, I'm taking the score off. So just to the inside of the score. And then this one, this piece on the right is my tab. I'm going to angle cut that. Now we do that so we can have a little bit of room when we go to put this box together and get rid of some bulk. So let me lay this down so you can see this. You see how I angle cut that piece? I didn't do a very good job because my marker messed with my eyes, but I put a little angle cut there. I'm going to turn it and go to my other score line here and do the same thing. Now the reason I'm doing this is because I want this box to be super sturdy in the middle, because it's just kind of sitting there by itself and he needs to be sturdy. So we're going to do that cut and then that angle cut. And I'll lay this down and show you. Cut and angle cut, and do it again over here. And then I've got one more side to do. Turning it again and going over here. Because what we want to do is we want these tabs to create stability in our box. So this tab's going to get glued here. this one gets glued here, this one gets glued here, and this one gets glued here. So every side has stability. So every side is double layered. Okay? So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to take some glue and we're going to put glue on our tabs. And we're going to seal our box shut by taking that tab and putting it on the side like this. And then I like to just lay it down and squish it. Okay. This one, the last one, you'll want to be conscious of go ahead and push that one in so you can glue it in pretty easy. So now you can just reach in here, put some glue on it, close it up. So now you see why we did it that way. Now every side is double layered and your box is good and sturdy. So no matter what you put in there, it'll hold up. We tried that. So I glued this box on an angle because I thought it looked cute. I thought it was a good juxtaposition to the square. You could always do this. You could always just do it straight if you wanted to. But all you're going to do here is put some glue on the bottom of your box. And stick this down. So I got that glued in. All right, let me show you what we're going to make next. We're going to make this one. We're going to make the lid. The lid's in a little different. Let's go ahead and do all our scores. So I'm going to score the cake inside and have the stripies. I'm going to go ahead and, fold and crease. Go ahead and do this all the way around. Okay, just like we've been doing, we're going to cut to the inside of the score, just like we did a while ago. Remember, it's the same cut we made earlier, but we're doing something different, so I want you to watch me first, okay? It's that same cut and that same angle cut, okay? Same angle cut. I'm going to lay this down so you can see it. See that big old angle cut I did? The difference. Instead of going here and then skip a few, here, skip a few, here, skip a few, we're not doing that. What we're doing here is we're going to do them on the same. We're going to do them opposite of each other, okay? So I did that one there. I'm going to do this one here. So I'm going to cut this one in. Then I'm going to angle cut. So it'll look like this. They're opposite of each other. Then I'm going to go up here and do the same on the opposites. All right, so I'm going to lay this down. So this is what this one looks like. So you see, this one's a little different. Instead of having a tab here and then a tab here and a tab here and a tab here facing in that circle, these tabs are going to fold in and just go to one side. See, they're just going to live on one side. We don't care about that. It's the lid. It doesn't have to hold anything in, really. Now, if you're ready to assemble it, you just put glue on the outside of your tabs and fold them in. Okay? So to do that, you're going to put glue on a tab. This is more like what you probably have made boxes before. If you've ever made a box, this is how you typically do it. All right, for the next tab, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to add some glue to it. And we're going to fold this in and glue it down. And here you can see these two tabs are going to go on that guy. While we're doing this one, I want us to do the other one. I want us to do our lids at the same time. We just did one, okay? Come here. Now you remember we have this piece? This is our big lid. Let's make our big lid. Same process. Fold and crease all edges, all corners. All right, we're going to do the same tabs. We're going to do them opposite of each other this time. So here, and if you want to, you can do this. You can do that one and then this one. All right, I'm going to move my lids aside, and we're going to make some bows. All right, I need you to do something for me. I need you to get your two little pieces, okay? I need you to put this one aside. The 7-incher has to go aside. We're not using him right now. We're using this guy. Now, this is fun, okay? Here's what you're going to do. The pink side is the ribbon, so we want that to be the outside, okay? So I want to fold the insides together. So I'm going to line this up. I'm going to fold these together so that I get a crease down here on the end. Then I want you to take your bone folder. Put your finger at the crease, and I want you to do this. I want you to get kind of a ribbon curl. I want to make it curl. That's what's going to give us that pretty little loop. This is my favorite part of this whole project. Give it that curl. So you folded it in half, and you've ribbon curled the ends. Now, I'm going to fold this back so I can see my fold good. So I'm just going to kind of do it like this so it kind of looks like a W. And what I want to do is I want to put a little bit of glue right here, and I'm going to bring this piece into that glue like so. So watch. little bit of glue. Bring this piece in, but I'm not creasing it down. Let me show you what I'm doing. See how I'm leaving that loop? You want to leave that little loop there. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So if you missed it here, watch this time. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here. Okay. Bring this piece down to that glue, right to the center. Line it up in the center and keep your loop. And so you should end up with something that kind of looks like this, like kind of a figure 8 kind of thing. Okay, just set that aside. Now, this is your box lid ribbon. This is so easy to do, okay? What you're going to do is put a little bit of glue on one end of your box end ribbon, which is your other piece, your 7-inch piece. And you're just going to you're going to eyeball center the side of the box. You want to line it up to the edge and eyeball center that. See how I just glued that on like that? Then what we're going to do is where it meets here at the top, take your finger and push it over and kind of pinch. See how I did that to make it kind of sharp? And then all you're going to do is glue this flap down. So I'm just going to add some glue back here. Glue that piece down. This is so we didn't have to measure and score and all that kind of stuff. Ain't nobody got time to be measuring and scoring this tiny thing, okay? All right, then what we're going to do, you guessed it, fold this over, pinch it, and then glue it. It will be too long. That's what we want. We need it to be too long because we need this piece to finish off our other bow. So now that we've got that glued on, our little ribbon there, we're going to snip this away. Even with the side, I do better if I do it this way, even with the side. So there's our little ribbon on our box. You can see it going all the way around. And now I want to come back to this guy. And in the back, I want to put some glue here. And you guessed it, we're going to use this piece, pink side up, or you could switch it if you want it to be different. We're just going to wrap this around. So you just wrap him around until he comes back on himself and then glue it down again and cut off the excess. It's a lot easier than trying to measure all this and score all these tiny pieces. You just do that. Isn't that cute? Isn't that the cutest little bow? You guessed it. You're going to glue him on right here. You're just going to glue him to the center. Glue him on there. He's so cute. Look, you can put him on your box.
Just brush.
So cute. So kind. All right, check this out. Take your 1-inch by 12-inch. Pink side out, because that's the ribbon. White side in. I want you to fold right sides together. So white sides together and get yourself the middle crease. Just like we did a while ago. Same motion as that first little loop. Even to the point I want you to do this. I want you to curl it just like we did on that first tiny piece. Just curl it. Okay. Then fold back in the middle so we can see our fold again. Make that same W. We're doing that same motion, you guys. The very same thing. We're just going to do it 3 times. So then just take your glue. Put it into the right beside your little fold. Bring this in down to it. And don't crease the edge. Just like that. So we've made one side of our loop. And now you're going to do the same on the other. Now what you got is a bigger version of your tiny bow. Right? Just a bigger version of it. And it does like that. So I want you to sit that one aside and do these exactly the same. All right, let's talk about putting this bow together. Here's the thing. You think you go like this and like this, but you really kind of don't, okay? Do you see what happens if you make a plus sign and then you sit this guy here, it really doesn't close, but watch if you kind of nestle him, you'll see how it's really kind of an X on top of the straight. You see that? So what I'm going to do is just eyeball it. I'm going to put glue on the top of this one. And I'm going to just kind of make an X with this guy. Hold him down like this. Just kind of make an X. And before it gets good and dry, I'm going to do my other one so I can adjust them. So you just really cross these guys over the top and then just kind of lay it in place. I find that if you put the one on the bottom first, it's better. For some reason, if you do it like this, this one looks really weirdly too long. But if you put that on the bottom, it doesn't seem to be too long. It's weird. It's an optical illusion because it's the same length. It just looks weird on the other side. I'm going to use a piece of foam. You don't have to, but I'm going to use a piece of foam here. I'm going to cut a piece of Scotty. You can use whatever you got. I'm just putting a piece of foam right in the middle. Then look, on your sticker sheet, I'm going to grab this little guy right here and take my backer off and put him in the middle. And that's how our bow goes together. Isn't that cute? Super easy. Then you guessed it. Glue him on.
Glue it down.
And that is your box. And I'll show you this. When you close it up, sometimes when you hold it, you just hold this side and this guy flaps open. That's not a big deal, because what you do is you take your lid and you put it here and you hold your other pieces with your lid as you close it. And look, everybody put your box together. You have made a box. So we didn't make any little pieces to go in the pocket, so you can do that. Okay. These little pieces are cut aparts that I just glued down right here. Just little cut aparts from the thing. But one thing I want to show you that I think was wasted, so you guys might want to think this too. In our original box, this is the one we did the little, there's the yay stickers, which we thought were so cute. And they are cute. But when you put them in here, because our little flaps are so close, you lose it. So I wouldn't do that. I don't think I wouldn't waste those cute stickers there. Instead, I might put, I don't know, some sentiments, or maybe right there or something, or I don't know, maybe make another lid to go inside. You know, you can do that. You can add lid on top of lid on top of lid so they can open each lid. So you could have another lid in this one, and then those would make sense, but I wouldn't waste too much on those. But now you can add all kinds of stuff. And somebody asked if a gift card fit earlier, and I'll show you that it does. So you can put one in there. It fits perfect in your little pocket. So there you go. Oh, the other thing we didn't do, which I'll show you, we didn't do this tonight. We took one of the cut aparts and turned it into a tag. Get my lid back. See, we just made a little tag. And all we did with that was we took a cut apart and we cut little points and glued it on here, and it looks like a little tag hanging off the box. What I hope is, I know we built it kind of backwards because you started from the cuts, but I hope it helped you to understand the board and how to use the board, even though we did the cuts first. I really want you to be able to know how to use this. And I think we went over it enough that now you realize you make any size box you want, you know. Wouldn't that be cool? So there you go. Isn't this a fun project? Everybody would love to get this. And you can do so much. You not only can make it like I showed you in this video, but you also can make it where you have a lid for every single thing you put inside. So it's take off a lid, another lid, and not just the ones I showed you here. But I think this is super cute, and I hope you enjoyed that. You know what to do. If you make one of these, I want to see it. Head to our website, MaymayMadeIt.com, to our customer gallery, and share photos of your explosion boxes. We look forward to seeing them. Thanks so much for being here today, and until next time, bye now.